Hey all. I just wanted to make this video because I said I would, and I like to commit to the things I say I'm going to do. So this is a brief uh, intro to Nair 1 guide as Wii Fit Trainer. Um, this is something that I think turns her from a character that is just a good character with strong moves to like kind of bullshit at a lot of times. It's like one of the safest ways she can fish for really early kills with Nair 1 Bair or Nair 1 Up Smash, but it's very tricky. I would even go as far to say it could be considered appropriate, kill power for its difficulty. But that might be a controversial statement. But it is genuinely pretty tricky to learn, but getting its second nature is super important, and it's really nice to have it down. So I'm gonna go through how I would suggest learning it and what makes it work, what makes it doesn't work, um, or what makes it not work. Uh, Basically, every Wii Fit player I talked to when I was hoping to learn this asked how they did it. Asked how like I asked them how they react to the Nair one angles and stuff, and they know when they're gonna be able to go for confirms. They pretty much say you just get used to it, which is true. But I'm going to hopefully speed up that process and explain why it works and why it doesn't work. Uh, so the first thing to note, I guess, obviously, is that um, when Wii does Nair, she covers her whole body. And the way you get Nair 1 is by having the opponent not connect with Nair 2 in some way. This would be by either landing too quickly, um, so you auto cancel it before the second hit, or you space your move so you move out of the way before imagine a giant circle around her when she does Nair 2. Your opponent essentially leaves the circle before the move has enough time to do the second hit. So that is actually how you do Nair 1. But in terms of getting it to the best angle, I'm doing this on Captain Falcon because he's by far the easiest character to do this on. Not anything specifically, just this weight class. I practice it a lot on Belmonts. So I'm going to start with Nair 1 up smash. This should be a good percent. Captain Falcon is heavy. Of note, um, Nair 1 up smash is obviously kills a lot earlier, but it is a little harder to rely on as like a win condition or anything like that. The percent windows for super lightweights, it's around 40% to 50 or 60%. In practice, I think you're going to want to look for 40 to 50%. Once it gets higher, it starts getting really hard. You have to adjust positioning like very dynamically. Midweights around 50 to 60, maybe 70, same thing. And heavyweights, it can go anywhere from 70 to like 105. So obviously heavies are bigger, their window is going to be a lot bigger. So Captain Falcon here is both fairly big, fairly heavy. So I have him at 70. There's a lot of different ways you can get Nair 1 up smash. Um, the way that I see Xavier do a lot, which is, in my opinion, the most difficult way to demonstrate. Oh, by the way, all those numbers were with deep breathing, and I think you might as well go over these with deep breathing if you're going to fish for early kill confirms, because once you don't have deep breathing, um, then things start killing like I would say 30 or so percent later. And by that point, like you might as well just have deep breathing and go for a raw move. But it depends, it's always good to have the numbers in mind. But in any case, so the way that you see a lot of Wii Fits do this, in my opinion, is the hardest way is you approach with a landing fast fall nair, um, and then I didn't do that quite right. It helps because Captain Falcon is bigger, but there. So not the right percent window, um, but that is the Nair one. So you fast fall Nair, you drip slightly out of the way, and you start holding in order to do um, sliding up smash. Uh, and this is tricky for a number of reasons. One, you have to be in front of your opponent, And by that point, a lot of people are going to be mashing an option in front of them that will hit your stubby body. So it's not like you're outboxing people for the most part when you're in this position. Um, so setting that up can be very tricky. What I recommend for people who want to learn this is Nair 1 up smash where you do not have to change your position in order to match your opponent's drift when they're falling out of up Nair 1. Because of note, when you do Nair 1, um, the angle is very hard to predict sometimes. You just have to get used to a lot of situations. I much prefer to do where you essentially fall behind someone like that. You don't have to change your position at all. It's very easy to react to the angle and the fact that you got it. Like in that case, I got it first try, and then Nair 1 sliding up smash. Like I'm still really bad at this. I had to try it a lot of times. In my opinion, if you're going to fish for Nair 1 up smash, that's the easiest way to do it. It's also you're also automatically drifting away behind the opponent, so in a lot of situations, it's a lot safer. So in terms of Nair 1 up smash, you have to make sure that you drift out of the Nair 1 hitbox before Nair 2 connects. Otherwise, it'll connect and you have to react to that fact and then go up and chase them to keep comboing. Very good reaction time is very important for these things. Um, so for Nair 1 Bair, this one is interesting because I would say it's a lot harder to get used to, but a lot better and a lot easier in the moment because for Nair 1 up smash, your opponent basically must be grounded. If they're not grounded, they will 99% of the time fly way too high in order for the up smash to connect. But Nair 1 Bair, since you're jumping, it doesn't matter how, for the most part, it doesn't matter how high they go because you can chase them, you can follow their drift, and this is where just practicing it a lot to get used to the drift becomes really important. Um, so Nair 1 up smash, the thing about Nair 1 up smash is that it's, if you want to kill with it, it's really only useful by the ledge. And Nair 1 up smash, or Nair 1 Bair, will become a viable kill option. My golden rule is whatever your percent window is for your opponent for Nair 1 up smash, add 10 or 20% to that. And then especially here, it will start killing. It will start like obliterating people. But even here, like once the percents get higher, it's a little bit more generous. Um, at least for bigger characters. For characters like Pikachu, it's really hard. And Nair 1 up smash, I would say, is actually an easier win con on smaller characters, just because a lot of characters who are small, they're lightweight, um, makes it so they fly in so much more unpredictable angles. But in this case, I'm going to try to get Captain Falcon over here, and it's mostly the same process as trying to get Nair 1 sliding up smash from the front, except you can immediately jump out of the way. So if they're doing something. So it's about landing quickly. You obviously have to fast fall the Nair so you can land in time for you to be able to double jump Bair. Um, this one is a lot, as I said, a lot more generous. Um, but there's also a different side to it, which is Nair 1 fair. And Nair 1 fair is tricky because you really can't react to the angle. You kind of just have to know. Um, and so this is something you definitely want to practice a lot if you want to look for Nair 1 fair too. Nair 1 fair doesn't kill quite as consistently, but if you know what angle your opponent is going to get sent at, it's really nice because you can do Nair 1 fair and then set up for an edge guard, potentially kill. It kills a lot of people with bad DI because it just jump scares them, and it sends at a weird angle a lot of the time, so they DI badly. Um, so with Nair 1 Bair or Nair 1 Fair, you kind of just have to know that you got it. And my golden rule is that if the percent window seems pretty high, even for Nair 1, or sorry, I meant Nair 1 Fair. If the percent window, like right now, the percent window is pretty high, even for Nair 1 Bair. So this is when Nair 1 will start sending at such an angle that you can immediately jump up fair. You have to know that in my experience, you can't react to the angle. You just have to know that you're getting the fair angle and immediately go for it. So. There. So there, I immediately, after getting the Nair 1, so you fast forward the Nair 1, and if possible, try to drift out of the opponent's range. just enough so you can get enough horizontal distance covered to immediately jump out and catch them with fair. So the second you know you've hit Nair 1, just immediately double jump or immediately full hop fair. Just buffer it. And it works if you know the situation that you put your opponent in, like basically right as it's happening. Reacting to the angle is really hard, for me anyway. So for Nair 1 fair, it's best that you just practice this situation a lot and know what percent window and what position you got to be in to immediately jump up Nair 1 fair. Nair 1 fair is a lot more generous because you can even, once you catch people with Nair 1, you can even double jump to catch people's weird drift or something like that. Um, and this also works, uh, especially on heavier characters at so many percents. It's way more generous. Um, this is really strong, I think, because uh, Weefit gets a lot off of grab, and especially if you develop a good tomahawk grab game, people are going to be scared for you to tomahawk grab them. And so, a lot of what people do, especially if I'm coming down from a high angle and they're going to try to stand on the ground and catch my landing, is if I drift in and act like I'm going to tomahawk, oftentimes people unshield in order to either anti-air me or just do something else. And by the time they drop their shield, you can drift far enough in to catch the fact that they've dropped shield and are attempting to hit you, but safely because the move is -4. So this is something where if your opponent is sitting in shield and you just want to fish for it, they're sitting in shield, you just do this over and over and over again. Like it's almost unpunishable for a lot of characters. So it's a very safe thing to fish for. But in the situation I was talking about, um, it's something where if you condition your opponent to drop shield while you're landing on them by grabbing them or doing something else, or grab or landing jab, then you can catch a lot of people slipping with landing on them with nair and then up smash. And then this has the counter effect of conditioning people to shield all the time, in which case you can still get grabs, and that's really great. Uh, but yeah, I'm trying to remember if I have anything else. Uh, oh yeah, I would highly suggest practicing this, especially if you don't have the training mod, to go into training mode and set the CPU to just walk. Um, uh, because what they'll do is they'll just run around and then randomly air dodge. They'll jump and randomly air dodge. Like they'll just move around, and so it'll allow you to. It's obviously a lot easier when this computer is just standing still, um, for the most part. But in an actual match, your opponent's going to be moving around all the time. You really want to practice being able to position it in any position on the stage. Microspacing is extremely important here. So playing against the computer that's moving around all the time and allowing you to really get used to how to change your angles and when to go to what move and different positions, it's really helpful. It's really important. But the long or the short, you do just get used to it. But those are just a lot of the conditions that have to be met in order for you to get those confirms, and those are some ways you can practice it. So yeah.